Hey, so I have just got back from Malta. Well, I haven't just got back. I got back from Malta a few days ago and I'm off to Ibiza on Friday. So I thought it was quite fitting that I did my Ibiza video. Again, I don't know what I'm going to call this. Disclaimer, I don't think I'm an expert. I don't know everything. I'm not trying to be like the queen of Ibiza. It's just I get asked so many questions. So I thought I would answer them. Elephant in the room. This jacket. I love it. I was really kindly sent this by Edit Festival. Oh my god, I love their stuff and I think this is literally the cutest thing ever. It might get a bit warm, so I might have to take it off later, but sorry, look at me. Literally look at me. I actually love it. So, asked you to ask me some questions, and majority of these questions are a similar sort of thing to the ones I was asked for Hideout, and majority of them are very similar, and it's questions I literally get asked daily, so I thought I'd put them all on video and answer them from my perspective. So the first question I'm going to answer is one that I don't want to say it frustrates me, because that's a bit harsh and I don't want people that have asked me to think, you know, I'm like pissy or whatever, because I'm not, but it is where to go, or where shall I go, or what night shall I go to. I don't know. I don't know what kind of music you like. I don't know what DJs you like. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of different like factors into deciding where you want to go, if that makes any sense. My favourite places are DC10. I prefer it on a Wednesday because I really like Paradise. I've never had a bad night at Paradise. I do like Circo Loco as well, but Paradise is my favourite. I like Amnesia, but I don't know whether it's my favourite venue. Ushuaia is obviously really, really good because, you know, it's outside. But then I would only go on a Saturday when there's ants. I wouldn't go on any other night or any other day. Yeah, those would probably be my top three. Oh no, saying that, I love Sankey's. I know Sankey's is a bit iffy what's going on with Sankey's this year, but Sankey's is definitely one of my favourites. But again, depending on what night is on. So if you've never been before and you're open to absolutely anything, then yeah, you probably could just go, you know, look at the venue. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well. It's hard for me to tell you where to go based solely on location, because it completely depends on what DJs you want to see and what kind of music you're into. Does that make sense? That's what I'm trying to hint at. A place I think you really should go to at some point if you like the music and if you like the DJs for when you're going, it's DC10, because there's nothing else that's really like DC10. If you're there over a Saturday, go to Ushuaia. You'll regret it if you don't. If you can go to Sankey's when there's a decent night on this year, I'm not sure there is, but go to Sankey's. Pasha really surprised me last year, but you know, it's different this year. They've done it up, so I don't know what that's going to be like. I haven't been to High. That's since it's space turned into High. I haven't been there, so I can't tell you what that's like, but it looks amazing. From videos and stuff, it looks amazing. So yeah, I know that doesn't really answer the question of where shall I go, but I find it a really hard question to answer because I don't know what you like and I don't know what DJs you want to see. So another question I get asked is where to stay. So this is going to be a really long video. Basically, the two main areas people stay are San Antonio and Playa d'Embossa. Playa d'Embossa is pricey. It's really pricey to stay there. I've stayed in cheap hotels in Bossa and they were shit. Like, I usually stay in San Antonio purely for the fact that it's cheaper, and I've never really had a bad hotel for like the past 4 or 5 years, however long I've been going. I personally stay in San Antonio. If you have the money, stay in Bossa. If you've got like £800+ a night to spend, I mean, you can get hotels cheaper there. I think when we stayed there, we paid like maybe $350 for a week or something, which obviously is cheap, but like you could tell. Whereas in San Antonio, I mean, we pay literally next to nothing for the hotels there, and they're actually all right. So depends, you know, your budget, how much money you want to spend. If you stay in Playa d'Embossa, you are walking distance to Sankey's, High and Ushuaia. You're also literally 5 minutes from the airport. So, I mean, a taxi from the airport there is nothing. If you stay in San Antonio, you've got Ocean Beach within walking distance, and you've got the West End, or like the Strip, the West End, you're gonna have to get a taxi or a disco bus anywhere else. A taxi from the airport to San Antonio is about 30 euros, you know, each way. And a taxi between San Antonio and Playa de Bossa is about 30 euros. Amnesia is in the middle, but more on Bossa side, from what I remember. And DC10 is also nearer Bossa side. So if you stay in Bossa, you are going to be saving yourself money on transport. Whereas if you stay in San Antonio, you're basically going to have to get a taxi or the disco bus anywhere. If you like being close to things, stay in Bossa, but San Antonio is a lot cheaper. And you've also got Ocean Beach there. You've also got Eden and Es Paradis. So that's another thing, the disco bus. So in San Antonio, there's a big bus station kind of behind where Eden is, sort of, is walking distance from Eden. And I think it's from like June to August or September, something like that. There's basically a bus in the evenings, and I think it's like a €3 return between San Antonio and Bossa, and it will take you to Amnesia or Playa de Bossa. It does take you to other places, but we've never got off at those stops. And yeah, it's basically like a normal bus, except it's full of young people and it plays music. It comes really regularly, it goes back quite late. So that's what we do. I mean, when we go for openings, so like when I go on Friday, it's not open in May yet, so you'll have to get taxis there. So if you go really early for openings or really late for closings, you won't be able to get this bus. They do have a normal bus, but I don't know how they'd feel about letting everyone on it. So yeah. Budget. Everyone says, is it as expensive as what everyone makes out? It can be. It depends how much money you've got to spend. I've been there for a week and spent literally €300. I've also been there for less than a week and spent €800. So it depends on where you're going, what you're doing, what you're drinking. You can spend a lot of money, or you could do it on a budget, because I've done it on a budget and been fine. One thing we always do is get all of our tickets beforehand. If you have flown out there and you do not have a single ticket, you're going to spend €200+ easy on tickets straight away, which is why me and my friends like to get them before, because say you book it, even if it's just 6 months in advance, you could get a ticket a month every payday. You go out there, all that money you're taking out there is purely for like, well, food and drink basically. So that's what we do. That's one way I like to keep the cost down. Drinks are as expensive as what everyone else makes out. If you're going to like a normal shop or a supermarket, their drink is next to nothing. So buy all your alcohol to pre with in a supermarket. The West End obviously has cheaper drinks, but even the West End is not as cheap as like Magaluf and Zante. Like when I've been before, it's not as cheap as that, but it's not as bad as in the clubs. Like in Ushuaia, you're literally paying €24 for a vodka lemonade. And I mean, it's not a big vodka lemonade at all. So in the big clubs, you could easy spend like over €100 a night on drink. I mean, a bottle of water is going to cost you €12 in most of the clubs now. I think DC10 has still got the cheapest water. I think that's like €5 or €6, unless that's gone up as well. But yeah, and you also can't drink my tap water, so you can't just get a bottle and fill it up. Yeah, apart from that, food's cheap over there, drink is cheap over there, apart from in the actual big clubs. So yeah, it all depends on how much you drink, basically, with how much you're going to spend. Ocean Beach, I don't find as expensive as what everyone else makes out. They do shots for €5, they do Jaeger bombs for €5. The cocktails are like €13–15, which, I mean, they're like that in Be@One in Bristol, so I don't find Ocean Beach as expensive as what everyone else makes out. It's probably my most expensive day, because it is the day where I'm going to be drinking all day, but I don't think it's horrendous. My dad would say different. Right, best things to do in the day. So I would say Ocean Beach. There are other beach clubs and pool clubs, that doesn't make sense, like daytime things to do. Again, it depends on your budget, it depends where you're staying, it depends what kind of thing you fancy. Ocean Beach is the obvious one. There is also Jet Apartments, so that's basically a hotel in Playa de Bossa, and anyone can go in, like the pool area, you can like have drinks and stuff, and the beach right outside is where loads of people go. I have heard that last year Jet wasn't as good as previous years, but obviously who knows, it could pick back up again this year. So yeah, you've got kind of like Bora Bora Beach Jet apartment, so you could do that in the day. We've done that in the day like many times. That's completely free as well, like you just have to get there. So if you're staying in Playa d'Embosa anyway, literally walk down to the beach, go and Jet apartments. That'll be a good thing to do in the day. There's Zoo Project. Zoo Project isn't my favourite in terms of like music or anything, but I do think it's really, really cheap. That's close to San Antonio as well. That's like a €7 taxi journey. And if you're gonna get really drunk and like make a fun day of it, it can be quite fun. Like, I mean, me and my friends have never left there sober. Like, we have a good time. It's basically an abandoned zoo, and in like where different enclosures were, there's like different stages and stuff. I don't know, it can be quite like chavvy, but I do think if you've got nothing else to do in the day, I think this year is on a Sunday and a Tuesday maybe. If you've got nothing else to do, it's cheap enough just to go. Like, drinks are relatively cheap there, and it's fun. I think if you've never done it before, it is something fun to do. What's Mumbos like? So, Mumbos is something else that's in San Antonio. Basically, you kind of like walk down to the beach, and it's a restaurant on the seafront, and there's a really good view of the sunset. Now, Mumbos itself is quite expensive to eat in, same as Savannah, which is next door, but right next to Mumbos, and it looks like it's in Mumbos, is a restaurant called Mint. I think it's called Mint. It's awkward if it isn't, but anyway, it's a restaurant that's right next to Mumbos that looks like it's in Mumbos, and the food is like really nice and really decently priced. Talking like 10-12 euros for a meal. So yeah, I can guarantee you when a lot of people say they're going to Mumbos, they're going to Mint, because that's what we do. You can basically just sit down there, have food, watch the sunset. You can go down in the day. You can sit on a little beach right in front on the stones. And yeah, you can, someone's asked, what do you wear there? Anything, literally anything. A lot of people will be going there before a night out, and they have a lot of pre-parties and stuff down Mambo. So, I mean, a lot of people will be in their night out outfits. Or you could get really dressy down there. That's the thing with Ibiza, is clothing wise, because a lot of people have asked me what clothes to wear. Go through on my Instagram and have a look and see what like me and my friends wear, but you could wear anything. You will have people in Ushuaia at Ants literally in like a string black bikini that I would only ever wear for sunbathing and flip-flops, and that'll be it. And then you'll also have people really, really dressed up, like, you know, VIP really dressed up, and then you'll have people like me with not much on, basically, dressed more for a festival. So there's a massive mix. You can literally wear whatever you want, wherever you want, and Ibiza's the one place where like nobody judges you, because everyone's dressed so different. And people do like dress to impress, as cringe as that is, but people do wear their like nicest, kind of wackiest outfits out there. So you'll never be too extra or too overdressed or too underdressed, really. Apart from if you go Pikes. They didn't like our outfits. I wouldn't recommend Pikes. Oh, a lot of people think that I've done seasons there. I haven't actually ever done a season in Ibiza. I've just always gone more than once. Like last year I went 3 times. Both years before that I went either twice or 3 times. I've never actually done a season. I would love to, but I've never done one. Yeah, I just go for a few days at a time over a weekend, so I don't have to use that much holiday. And yeah, that's another thing actually, following on from that, is people ask me how I get so much time off work. I only get the same amount of days that everybody else gets. I just plan things over weekends. So instead of having to take, you know, if I went Monday to Friday, I'd have to take 5 days off. I'll do it Friday to Tuesday, so I've only got to take 3 days off. You know, it's pretty simple. Loads of people are asking me where to eat. For some reason, and it's the same on family holidays, it's the same on girls' holidays, I just don't eat a lot abroad. I don't know why, I just don't. When me and Jake were in Malta last week, I had 1 ham and cheese toastie all day, and that was all I'd eat. Because I'm so busy being out, I'm just not hungry. And it's the same when I'm on family holidays. Like, I spend all day sunbathing, and I don't want to get up and go and eat. So I haven't really been to very many nice food places in Ibiza, so I can't really recommend any. There's a place on the front in San Antonio, you know, like where the taxi rank is, called Bondi. I think it's called Bondi, and they do really nice food, and it's like health conscious food. Skinny Kitchen is nice. It's expensive, but it is nice. Mint's really nice, around by Mumbos. There was one place we went for a nice burger, which was like by Ibiza Rocks, but Ibiza Rocks restaurant on the front. I can't think what it's called now, Blue maybe? I don't know. They did nice food. Ibiza Rocks restaurant has nice food. But yeah, I'm the type of person, I will survive on a ham and cheese toastie, so I don't go out for nice food really. To me, it's a bit of a waste of money. But it's probably going to be my last question unless I need to do a part 2. But going back to outfits, people are saying how many outfits do you need to take? If you've only ever been lost and found, hideout, you know, like abroad festivals, Ibiza is completely different to that. And that is why I'd only ever been to Ibiza. When I went to hideout, it was quite hard wrapping my head around it. Ibiza's not as non-stop as, say, hideout, for example, in the sense that there's not really too much going on in the day. So you go out for the night time. Most places start at 12, but I mean, a lot of people won't get there till 2, sometimes gone 2. And then yes, it will go on till like 6 if you're lucky. And then you go home. And there's usually not much going on in the day, which is how me and my friends end up at Ocean Beach most of the time. Yeah, you don't really need to take a day outfit and a night outfit, because you'll probably find that there's not really much to do in the day. Like in the day, you kind of like, you could just sit by the pool, chilling, doing nothing, going out for food, going like, I don't know, sightseeing or something. It's completely different to hideout, for example, in that aspect. It's definitely more of a nighttime place. There is things to do in the day, obviously, but it's not non-stop the way that like festivals abroad are. It's not like a festival. It's literally different clubs spread out around an island, and you go to that club, and once you're in that club, you're staying in that club. I've got to hop from like Noah to Papaya. It's not like that at all. So literally work out how many events you want to go to. I would say buy your tickets beforehand, but if you're not going to do that, that's fine. You can buy them out there easy enough. But I would say have an idea in your head of what events you're going to go to, and literally just take enough clothes for those events you have planned. Questions are the same sort of thing or similar, so if I've missed something out, comment down below and let me know, and I could do a part 2, but I think I've covered the basis of this. Yes, I think that is everything. Have a look at Edit Festival on Instagram, because I think this is literally amazing, and I'm surprised I haven't actually sweat to death in it. But yes, let me know if I've missed anything, if I've missed your question, if there's anything that you would like to know. I hope this helps some people. Like I said, I'm going Friday, so if you're going, see you out there. If you're not, hopefully you'll get to go some point this year. But yeah, Ibiza is literally one of my most favourite places in the world. It's amazing. And yeah,